Welcome, race fans, to round 2 of the Canadian Motocross Championships. This week, Vancouver Island and Nanaimo, British Columbia, one of the most beautiful places on the planet. MX2 pilots in staging and picking their gates. This is the Wastelands. Get ready for 4 big motos today in the MX2 class and the MX1 class. Presented by Motovan, this is the Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. And here we go, MX2 pilots coming out onto the track for the parade lap. Mark Travers and Brian Koster in the booth as we get set for round 2 of the Canadian Motocross Championships, the Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. That's the Wastelands, an absolutely gorgeous track cut into the side of a mountain.
Very unique facility here. There's a very hard, rocky shale base, but the crews have brought in tons of topsoil over the years to make it a very raceable track. Lots of supercross-style obstacles, some great elevation, and a fantastic spectator track. It's equal for all these riders. Boy, I am so excited for the first gate drop.
Always intense racing here at the Wastelands in Nanaimo. Fabs, let's pop back to round 1 and see some highlights from the MX2 class. It was a hot one that day.
Yeah, it was 40 degrees Celsius in the shade. Young Dylan Wright rode awesome. Had his problems early. Moffenbauer got by, but Moffenbauer makes this mistake on the last lap to get his first national win of the year, but Dylan Wright gets the first national win, bam, bam, of his career.
Second moto, the number 18 of Brad Nodded on that Honda with the hole shot. He was out front. We had 4 or 5 different leaders, including Jess Pettis, the number 20. Then Moffenbauer was in the lead, and here comes the number 4 of Cole Thompson. Pundits had him leading the series early, and he took care of it in the second moto.
Problems at the start of the first moto. Thompson went 4-1, but it was the 2-2 of Little Muff for the overall.
With that, let's get into the standings in the MX1 class. After 1 of 10, you saw Moffenbauer on top of the box, red plate, Thompson, Leaf in 3rd, Medaglia in 4th, and LaFontaine in 5th.
Young upstart McCoy Bruff from Utah 7th, and Dylan Cale and Dylan Wright. Casey Keese, the first Pro-Am, then it's Wharton in 10th.
All right, things are starting to heat up. MX2 pilots are coming in from parade. Getting to the gate. Remember, concrete start, MX2 action right around the corner. This is the Wastelands, Nanaimo, British Columbia. Oh, wardrobe malfunction on the Rockstar Girl Fabulous Moto 1 board coming across. MX2 pilots on the line. Concrete start. Absolutely gorgeous day. Sir Paul has got Rockstar Haley out there with the 30 board, and things are starting to get going here, Fabs.
Including my heart rate. Holy cow, Kingsley's got a nice spot. This first moto will be brought to you by RoyalDistributing.com, your power sports leader.
And also the sponsor of our illustrious hole shot, Fabs. And of course, don't forget about the Triple Crown. If they get 2 in this class, they double that. It's gonna be fantastic. Okay, let's focus back on the gate. Riders now preparing to take off outside, and the gate is down, Brian. Coming to that short right-hander. Who's gonna get that Royal Distributing hole? Yeah.
Whoa, those guys take the wrong course, but it looks like the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Mark Worth.
Oh, rider
from
down.
Arizona. Oh my gosh,
my
big
goodness.
key players down.
That is the number 14 of Jerry Medaglia that slid down the face of that jump. The number 20 of Jess Pettis was down, as well as the 17 of Wright. So you're right, some of our players early in problems. The number 101, that is Mark Worth, replacement rider for Jacob Hayes. Hole shot in the lead. Nice to see for that Cowie team.
Yeah, that is the Alpine Star Parts Canada Kawasaki team. So Worth up from Santan Valley, Arizona, like you said, filling in for Jacob Hayes, who injured that knee at the first round. And Worth has been nurtured by Team Green, done well at Loretta Lynn's. He's an upstart, he's a prodigy.
Very bossy on the outside to inside for the number 15 big steel box. KTM of Sean Moffenbauer, of course, red plated. That means he's leading the points series. Nice cluster of 2 strokes back there with the 324 of Kalen and the 171 of Ryan Lalonde. He got a dynamite start. He had the inside gate kick as well.
Yeah, it's funny. You can see that blue smoke at the concrete starting pad. A lot of riders not enjoying a concrete starting pad. There's 3 of them in this 10-race series. Of course, they are outlawed out west. Look at Moffenbauer scrubbing low, the 101 up Worth tripling, all kinds of different rhythming lanes here, and a very fun track. There's some great corners. like we said in the opening, awesome for spectators. They can take it all in here in Nanaimo.
It's a difficult track to get really tacky, Brian, because of that hard substrate. They do have a lot of soil in here, but what happens is it gets really greasy, so the watering you have to temper the water on the track.
And the bright sun is the enemy of this track for the crews. I'm telling you, it bakes and dries up. So first moto of the day, it is awesome out here. There's good loam, good soil, but as it bakes, it's going to become harder and harder as this day wears on.
It was a big loss to that Kawasaki team to lose Jacob Hayes in the first round, the first moto, because there was a lot of pundits that were expecting him to get up there and battle with Thompson, just like they did in the arena cross. But the nice thing about Team Green is they have depth in the organization. They got a problem, they bring up another rider in the 101 of Worth. So good to see. Here's that whole shot again.
Yeah, we've seen that in the past. So Team Green is an awesome organization. Some riders decide to go straight, but look at Worth, just gets on the gas from just about 8 to 10 in from the inside. Riley Gallup decides to go straight, but on board with McCoy Bruff. He gets swallowed up here. Look at all the riders passing Bruff.
There's that
You can just see this whole carnage, and now Bruff goes down as well. What a mess. And here it is again, Trads. Detail the 14 of Medallia. Great start, sitting second.
Medallia comes in and it's not too greasy there, but he must have had a lot of clumpy dirt in his front tire because it slid right out. And then he got pounded by Pettis, and then Pettis runs into right. Looked like he was going off track, and then a real conundrum in here, but that was a real tough one for Medallia, though. He got pounded hard into that concrete.
Oh, did he ever? And then the two MX-101 Rockstar Yamahas with Wright and Pettis, both going all akimbo and down hard, and that was not a pleasant crash for any of those guys.
Well, you think about how dangerous the start is with 40 riders coming into turn, funneling at speed, and everybody wants to get out early. It's a real dangerous time. So, wow, too bad for Medallia and that GDR Honda team. Let's get back to our lead package. Worth and Thompson. It looks like a bit of a pony show right now, a bit of a freight train. Thompson running the same lines as Worth. Interesting. This is Worth's first time on the track. We've got a Red Cross flag out there right now, Brian. Officials out on the track. We've got a rider down. The report is right now that is the number 177 of Carson McQueen. So a tough angle for him. He's just off to the side of the track. Leaders are through this section now. Moffenbauer in third. Wow, things are all askew right now.
Yeah, McQueen is a Pro-Am rider making his way here in the pro ranks, doing really well. The battle for fourth is raging though right now with Brad Noddet back to the lead battle. Looks like Thompson starting to let Mark Worth know his presence, sweeping wide around that Rockstar right-hander up the inside by the mechanics. Grabbing gears, Thompson on the inside takes a peek. No, Worth shuts the door through the Honda. Overpass they go. I love this part of the track here. It's wide, there's a hipper on the inside. This right-hander is sweet. Now as they accelerate out of this Yamaha corner, there is a two-lane jump. You can go on the outside or take the hip on the inside, and it is so fast right up through there, man. These guys, that jump right there, super dynamic. For the fans that are sitting there, they're seeing some real high-speed action.
I'm very satisfied with the composure of Worth right now. He's been leading for quite a while, and Thompson is a veteran. He's a young man, but has a lot of experience both with outdoors and supercross. So he's the veteran in here, but I like the way he's pushing, he's probing, making it very difficult and uncomfortable for Worth.
Worth knows he's there. Thompson, with so much experience, is biding his time right now. He knows it's a long moto, but if he waits too long, Moffenbauer is really pushing and actually catching this lead group. So Worth and Thompson better get on the gas, because the 15 of Little Muff is charging in, and he wants to stick a nose in.
And remember, the number 4 of Cole Thompson, who has dropped down from the MX1 class, took the overall last year on this track in the MX1 class. So you want experience, he's got a boatload of it.
Cole doesn't necessarily call himself a hard pack specialist. He doesn't necessarily love hard pack, but he does very well on it. So as we head east, we can look at Thompson even get faster.
Look at him on the inside, Fats. You want to talk about getting the gloves on and getting dirty. He's starting to pressure. Worth on the outside. Does Thompson have him through the Royal Distributing Corner? Yes, he does, with a bit of a crossover. Lane change. I love it.
What a great pass. You know, we've seen passes there, but not quite executed like that. Thompson on the inside, that inside rut, you got to really commit. And Thompson just does that, and you can see the suspension just compressed right in to that rut, and it's a thing of beauty. Oh! Worth gets tangled up, too close. Thompson gets a little sideways, and Worth just got nowhere to go but right up his katukas.
Well, it looked like Worth thought he had that inside line, and then Thompson cut across from the Honda corner to get back inside for the hipper, while Worth went down hard on his shoulder. I thought maybe there was a collarbone. Oh, tough one.
It looked like he was just going to get up and running, and now he's holding that hand. Here it is. Thompson on the outside, just minding his own business. Just gets a little sideways. Worth's got nowhere to go. That's the worst thing for riders, to get that front wheel into another rider's back wheel. 9.5 times out of 10, you are sampling. There he is right there, and we saw him favoring that wrist or arm or shoulder or whatnot. But yeah, it looks like this motor is done for the 101. Oh my goodness, what a blow. They can't have two injured riders back to back on the Cowie team.
Back to the number 18 of Brad Nodden, who's been embroiled in a huge battle with the number 70 of Brandon Leith, and this is for third spot in this moto. The number 70 of Brandon Leith has been very surprising this year. Privateer, we saw some good motos from him last year, but he's a fast, brash young kid.
Really nice kid from Salt Lake City, Utah. He's a big mountain biker, likes to DH, goes to Moab, goes to Park City. He's super enthusiastic, and he's stoked to be up here in Canada, dicing for podiums.
There's the number 15, a little muff with the red plate, sitting in second place in a very comfortable position for him. Back to the 217, the only amateur in the top 10 right now. This is Casey Keys, Brian, one of the Fox Brigade riders in Canada, one of the young specialists. He's going to be something someday.
This kid is got a future. If he can get a handle on some training, get himself a little stronger, he has all the ingredients to be a champion in the future in this country. Cole Thompson looks like, you know, he's got all the ingredients. A big star in the U.S. Supercross, looking to make a real name on the global scene. He's still young, looking to make his way in Canada.
The KTM team has to be just tickled pink right now, or maybe tickled orange is a better way to say it, with the way that Millsaps is riding, and now with Cole Thompson coming up and taking the checkered flag for his second moto win. That's 2 consecutive ones. Brian, things are looking good for KTM and Cole.
Welcome back to the Wastelands and the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mark Worth getting his whole shed check. Looks like he's okay to come back and battle in the second moto.
Nice job, Pat. Let's get to our top 10. First MX2 moto. Little Muff with a quiet but steady second. Nodden in third. Leaf, Keast, Kalen, Lalonde, Nielsen, Frazier, and Mark Worth gets all the way back to 10th.
A little bit lonely for you out there because not a lot of action. What's a rider like yourself think about when there's not much to chase and no one really chasing you?
You got to nail your marks. I mean, you got to be perfect and try to make sure that guy maybe in front of you, if he's making mistakes, you're capitalizing on it. So that's what I did, and I tried to put the big steel box out front, and hopefully we can do it next moto.
Brad Nodden, they call him the flying burrito. Brad, you just like hammered that moto. You got a great start. You're consistent. You're up from Washington, but you've been racing this series for 5-6 years, so you're pretty much an adopted Canadian. Stoked to see you on the box.
Yeah, thanks. You know, got off to a good start, and I got the SG Power Honda, Scotty Motorsports up front. Thanks to all the guys at Proven Moto, and just put together a solid 20. Had a good time with everybody, and ended up third.
Great day here at the Wastelands as we get ready for the first MX1 moto of the day. This is the premier class, the number 55. That's Vince Freezy on that Monster Energy Kawasaki with the pole position. Here comes the big man, Davey Millsaps.
Millsaps comes in second fast, so he gets the second choice here on this cement pad.
Pretty hard for Davey to tuck that flag in the ground. Just goes to show you how hard it is around here. There's the number 5 Husqvarna, Tyler Medaglia, to the number 800 of Michael Lessie, a hole shot specialist. He knows this concrete well. Let's see what kind of a start he has to the number 3 of Brett Metcalf.
There is some talent here. There's Colton Fatchody picking second from the inside. That's a bold spot.
And another Canadian hopeful, the number 11, Kevin Benoit. That's Millsap's teammate, so a good start for him. Saps, let's go back to last week and that sandy Kamloops soil. Gorky with the whole shot in the first moto, and he led wire to wire, but Millsaps was pressuring late. You remember that one? Oh my.
Millsaps was pushing hard last week, and he had several episodes like that of riding that front wheel, but Millsaps is so strong. Look at him here. He is a world-class athlete, and the skills on the bike, amazing. Colt Fasciotti, a gorgeous rider to watch, but Millsaps just able to edge him at the finish line.
So bossy on the track. Millsaps is unbelievable. So your top 3, Millsaps, Gorky, and Fasciotti. Here's our top 10 in points after 1 round. You know your top 3. Benoit with a dynamite day in 4th. Michael Lessie still getting used to that Kawasaki in 5th.
Metcalf also adjusting to the Yamaha 6th. Medaglia, solid moto. Cade Clayson on the Redemption KTM. Keelan Meston, the star, as well as Morgenberger.
Okay, MX1 pilots coming out on a parade. 3 gorgeous rock stars setting the table for us, Brian. This is going to be a good moto. Big bikes, tight track, high corners, MX1 action next. Welcome back to round 2 of the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we look at the lovely Rockstar Brookery and that Moto 1 board across. Fabs, I don't even know what to say as Haley comes out and sees Sir Paul. This place is nuts.
Sir Paul has the best seat in the house surveying all the action. And you know that watch, I think he's got a camera in it. He likes his technology, that boy.
Well, you can always count on Kinger to keep good time, Fabs. That's for sure as we get ready for the first MX1 Moto. Let's rev our hearts. It's brought to you by Yamaha. And look at that Yamaha. That is the CycleWorks FXR Yamaha number 28 of Keelan Meston from Calgary. That kid's in the top 10. He's a top dog, and he's got the inside gate pick right next to number 2, Fachodi.
And his blue Yamaha just looks prepared, immaculate. Gorgeous bikes on board with Sean the Robinson sandwich between Swanson and Benoit. And look at the jump for Benoit. Tyler Medali also mired back. But Travis, it's number 3, Brett Metcalf with that rail distributing whole shot.
Gorgeous inside line, but oh my goodness, the number 118, the big man, Davey Millsaps on that Thor KTM goes inside. Gives Metcalf the big elbow, and now he's in the lead.
It's remarkable how Millsaps can make these passes happen so fast. I mean, he's good, but man, he's showing he is really good.
The Rockstar lock-off cam showing some dynamite ruts in the corner before the finish as we go underneath the Honda bridge. A gorgeous track here. The track crew has done a beautiful job in dressing this thing to the maximum. 2 Rockstar Yamahas through the Yamaha corner. A difficult part of the track. Alessi starting to get on the gas. And is that the number 55 of Vince Friese? It is the number 11 of Benoit right behind him with Fachodi as they freight train through the back section.
Pair of Rockstar Yamahas, but it's the 800 of Alessi on the inside. A Girk looking good. The talent in this class, the speed they are going, this is no joke, man. Fasciotti falling back a little bit to these leaders and a little leg work and paddling for the 800. Girk's right there, neck and neck. And the 800 is such a great scrubber, but on the outside, it's the long, lanky Floridian of the Girkman that is saucing up Alessi right now.
There's good lines in the track, Brian, but obviously on this particular track, there is one fast line. So you're gonna have to find a way to utilize other lines to make it happen. And that's what Alessi, no! The 55 of Friese is down. We talked about how slippery this track is, Brian, and it looks pretty tacky there for crying out loud.
That was just a matter of Vince getting ahead of himself. He was looking ahead, getting on the gas. He already had that corner executed in his mind, and he goes down, so opens the door for a bunch of these other speedsters, Fasciotti included. But to me, it's the 800 that looks really dangerous right now. The way he is scrubbing and staying low, I think he may get that back from Girk.
Here's that hole shot again. Metcalf with a dynamite corner on the inside, gets that Royal distributing hole shot, and here's that pass again by Millsaps. Oh my goodness, on the inside with just a thread's worth of track there.
Yeah, just about to say, Travis, using every millimeter of this racetrack is Millsaps. Jumping off there on the outside, it's a little lower takeoff. The riders want to stay low to get that power back on the ground. You can't really accelerate in midair. So all the riders staying low. The number 2, Gopher Dunes Honda, Cole Fasciotti getting in the mix. Now here's Friese back up, getting back on Clayson. These two run into each other all the time in the U.S. Supercross. Friese getting a little bit better results in that Supercross. He's got a few more years of pro experience than the young Cade Clayson on that big steel box KTM.
Again, getting used to the Kawasaki, I expected to see Friese battling in that top 3-4 fold. Yeah. We haven't seen that yet. I'm sure we will. Back to a pair of Yamahas in the All Balls Valley. I see a red cross flag out there. Brian, riders are not allowed to jump on a red cross flag. I think I saw Millsaps pop through there. Metcalf scrubs, but Gorky also jumped it. That could be an issue here. We will have to see how that plays out, Brian. Interesting right now with our top 3 guys coming through that red cross section, and the number 3 of Brett Metcalf having an issue in that Royal distributing corner.
Yeah, he got in there and just plowed the front wheel, and it stymied his drive. Recorrected, gave Gerke a little chance to close up. And for Gerke, when you see a rider in front of you make a mistake, it really kind of gives you that little extra push to make a pass and get by him quickly. Tyler Medaglia right now sitting in 9th place, Travs. We saw him get a poor start. He's slowly, incrementally pushing his way forward on that factory Husky. Oh my goodness, and there it is again, a front wheel plow. We saw Metcalf make that slight mistake again, and that one sampled him right down into the ground. Benoit gets by on that factory KTM, and Benoit, an unsung hero of this Class 2 MX2 championships. Here's Millsaps out front, just giving her, and here comes Metcalf trying to push and just loses that front end right before the rut. So just a millimeter of a mistake, and the likable Algie does a soil sampling here in the Wastelands.
This track is a slippery goose, Brian. Let's face it, it has been its whole career, and it continues to be today. Back to the number 27, Sean Robinson. He's wearing a helmet cam for him, and he's battling the 323 of Cuba. Look at these guys getting it together. This is for 17th, Brian, as we go on board with Robinson.
That was a matter of too much defense for Robinson. He went up high to stuff him and just left the line open. Cuba grabs a handful of throttle and gets by.
Nice.
Sean Robinson, a strong, big kid, and he is a bona fide contender here as that best of the rest. Oh, number 11, Benoit, who was up into 4th place, pushing that KTM off the track. A lot of flat tires out here, though the factory teams are all running the Moose 2s. So no flat there, but there's no chain on the motorcycle, no chain. So a broken chain for Benoit as we see this gorgeous valley and Millsap's lead in real time, Kratz.
About 5 seconds back to Gerke, so he's keeping him honest on this track. Alessi in 3rd place, and this is the little cluster for 4th. That is the number 3 of Brett Metcalf, and then number 2 of Colton Fasciotti, who's having a quiet moto.
Big air time, just big floating, beautiful jumps on this racetrack. Now the number 2, Mehdi's off track. So the pass is executed for Fasciotti. So can we say brain fart on TV? Because Metcalf's had a few of them in this moto.
You're allowed to now. It's not 72 anymore. Fab's back to the number 1 at Gorky. He's actually keeping that gap nice and close. Remember, you finished 2nd in the first moto. You win the 2nd one, you get the overall. He's in good position right now. To the number 2 of Colton Fasciotti with the number 3 of Metcalf in tow. Fabs, are you surprised that these 2 riders aren't pressuring Millsaps for the lead?
A little bit, yes, especially with Fasciotti's skill and experience on this track. He knows it well. It's the first time Millsaps has been here. The 800 of Alessi just has his head down, bit between the teeth. We know Mike can really ride the hard pack. He's showing it well. And number 5, this rider here, the fastest in this corner earlier in the day on that inside. I mean, the cornering speed for Medallion, he's riding that 350, remember? So he's a little bit down on torque, a tiny bit down on horsepower over these 450s, not really mattering so much on the hard pack. But once we get into the deep sand, he may be at a little more of a disadvantage than out here at the Wastelands.
Medallion not having the moto that he wants, Brian. He had a bit of an issue sitting outside of the top 10, so that's not where he wants or where his team expects him to be. To the number 800 of Mike Alessi, and it looks like he is in 2nd place, Brian. I do not see the number 1 of Matt Gerke. There he is, just coming in on the right of your screen. So Gerke has had an issue. Fasciotti closing the door on Gerke. That right there is for 3rd place.
Man, I wonder if he laid it down or if he's got a little issue with the bike, because here comes Fat Yotes hard on the number 2. Alessi, we spoke about him earlier. He was scrubbing everything, looking like he's having a lot of fun on this track. He's always happy and upbeat, off track and in the pits, so that translates to good results. But it's the 118 Factory 4 Parts Canada KTM of Davey Millsaps, new to the series, takes that first moto checkered flag after a dominant pass on Metcalf out of the gate, man. Wow, Millsaps is one tough competitor. To our Yamaha leaderboard for the unofficial results, we know our top 3. How about Fasciotti and Metcalf, Clayson, but Matichuk with a dynamic moto, as well as Berger and Kuba, Swanson 10th.
The number 800 of Mike Alessi is back up on the podium. Mike, what a great place to have you. A very interesting race, not a lot of battling, but you capitalize on a few mistakes late in the moto. Some good solid points for you.
Yeah, thank you, Travers. I appreciate it. Didn't get a great start, but just kept my head down, charging the whole moto. Ended up 2nd. Last lap, Gerke had a little tip over, so take it as we can go, and looking forward to the 2nd moto.
The number 1 of Matt Gorke had 2nd place in the bag. Issues on the last lap, finished 3rd. I know that's not the finish that you wanted, Matt, but points are very crucial right now. You're still in the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, at least, I still got a 3rd. I'm a little bummed that last lap. That lapper went down right in front of me, and I hit him and went down. So I lost 2nd place, but I felt good out there. I had a solid pace in 2nd. Davey was running good. We both running a good pace, I think, and we'll try to get him next month.
Podium celebrations continue. There's the winner of the first MX1 Moto. The MX2 boys are getting ready to line up. They're racing next. This is round 2 of the Rockstar Motocross Nationals from Nanaimo, British Columbia, and the Wastelands. As we see the lovely Rockstar Brooke and the Moto 2 board, that means only one thing, Fabulous. We're getting ready to race. MX2 boys on the line, concrete start, one of 3 in the country this year for our 2016 series, as Rockstar Haley comes out with the 30 board, flanked by Rockstar Lauren, and there's Sir Paul with his watch again.
His favorite device there. He's chatting to the girls, telling Haley to get that 30 board up. There's Mark Worth. Let's see if he can get a better finish. Look at all the key players are on the inside of the doghouse. Little Muff, though, number 15. Boy, did he have a great moto that first race. And we see an open gate spot, Travis. That's Gopher Dunes rider Jeremy Medaglia out from that crash. He banged his head pretty hard on the dirt.
Speaking of the Gopher Dunes Honda, you saw that red wing come across. This MX2 moto, the second one, is brought to you by Honda. Let's watch the riders now focusing on the gate. Lalonde had a great start in the first moto on that 2-stroke. Here they come, Brian. Right-hand sweeper, short one. Who's going to get that road distributing hole?
Did you see Thompson wheeling? Oh no!
Leith.
Now Leith is down. Oh my goodness, we can't seem to get a clean start here anywhere. But what a sick hole shot by the number 4. He was just dancing on that back wheel forever and ever and a day and made that work.
Too bad for Leith. That's the exact same spot that Medaglia went down in the first moto. So there's something about the inside. There's probably a lot of shale in there. Very slippery. Oh no, worse down again. Corner before the finish. Man, this guy can't buy a break.
Wow, he is just getting passed like crazy. When you crash on the opening laps, boy, the whole pack gets through. I think going back to Lace crash traps, they're coming in with so much aggression, so much adrenaline, and they are just amped to get up front, and he just low slide. That is pushing a little too hard, and hey, these guys are human. They want to win.
A little too much front brake, maybe dabbing a little too much on that face, but because it didn't look like it was greasy or anything like that. Back to the number 15 of Sean Moffenbauer. He gets by the 171 of Lalonde to get into second place. That's 2 great starts for Lalonde. That kid's got some prowess.
Yeah, he's got that pro circuit pipe. This year on the 2-strokes, they're not allowed to modify the cylinder. They're only allowed to modify before and after the cylinder itself. So not quite the horsepower those 2-strokes were allowed last year. The pack funneling through. A couple of our key players from that first moto down, Travis. I know Jeremy Medaglia. Man, this is big news in the class.
The door is opening back to the 324 of Kalen, another privateer 2-stroke effort. He looks good out there. Here comes the 17 of Wright and Pettis as they freight train through. There's the 69 of Gallup with a dynamite start. And look at the 217, the amateur Casey Keast. We talked about him in the first moto. This kid's got some stones.
He's for real, and he's from out west here, so a little bit of experience on this track. It's a bit of a hard base, and tire choice is key. We talk about flat tires out here. A lot of the factory stars using those Moose liners, but these other privateers not really in tune to that technology yet.
Through the Rockstar lockup cam, Lalonde was looking down at his bike. I'm not sure which side. He looks like he might have a problem. You think about this class, O'Brien, with those amateurs like Keith in there, they really have to be patient. They can't expect too much to happen. Just get up there and gain some experience. That's what Keith is doing.
Keith is definitely a prodigy. The Fox Brigade behind him. Yamaha Canada Blue Crew loving this young brash kid, and he's proven his worth right now out on the main track ahead of their factory stars of Wright and Pettis. So this kid's got something.
It looks like Wright has slipped by, but you think about Wright and Pettis, both of them, and Kalen as well, came up through those amateur ranks. This is what motocross in Canada is all about, developing young talent.
Yeah, for sure, and this back northern section of the track is just awesome. A great rhythm lanes, great airtime. Back to the road distributing hole shot. Look at the one wheel. Look at that wheel all the way down for the number 4 of Cole. Tommy Gun Thompson just unloads a clip into this whole field. And there is Laith. Looks like maybe the back brake slippage there. Coming in on the binders hard, about to transition to the throttle, and just loses both wheels. Bam, down.
Worth tucks in on the inside and then gets up into the mix. And I saw Wharton on there. I said, here's Worth going down. Oh my goodness, Moffenbauer. Yeah, but Moffenbauer was super aggressive on the inside. I think he forced him out.
Big time. You can see Moffenbauer paddling along there. Now, Sean Moffenbauer, one of the strongest physical riders in this class. Remember, he's trained with the best of them, teammates with Bobby Canary last year, and he has just got that never say die attitude, and he's got the physical strength to back it up. He looks awesome.
I love the inside line on that Yamaha corner. They just dive in and get aggressive. You saw Cole Thompson not using the inside. There's the 17 of Dylan Wright. That's what quartering speed is all about. You're watching that on that track. Beautiful. Here comes the number 20, Jess Pettis. He is in 5th place, moving up on the 324 of Kalen. You know what? I'm not surprised that Kalen's up in this mix, Brian. That guy had a national number 8 in this country. He ran into some injury problems. He's a dynamite rider. I love him.
Yeah, national number 8. He can ride that MX1 bike down on the two-stroke on the inside. Here comes Pettis, throws it in. That Rockstar finishing line turn has a peek over by the mechanics here, grabbing gears. That KTM ain't giving up much on that straightaway.
If you leave the door open, Brian, on this track, you're going to pay the price. That's what happened to Kalen. Back to the battle for 10th. That's the number 53 of Arsenault. Worth is back in the mix. Nice to see Worth get back up on the bike and charge through. This kid has got unbelievable style. I love to watch him ride.
Yeah, he got scraped up pretty good in that crash in the first one, but did recover for 10th. We saw him up front, had that altercation with this rider here, Little Muffin Scrubber. He has just been scrubbing everything around this racetrack, staying low. He's actually put a dent into Thompson's lead right now.
He has, but back to the number 17 of Dylan Wright, who was in 3rd place, had a problem in the Zox corner. That just goes to show you how big the 3-pack was out front.
Yeah, and these top riders laying it down. There is a lot of small little stones out here, Travis, those little white specks and a couple of nice side stones there, and it's like marbles in some of these right-hand bowl turns.
I think they call them pebbly poos. Here comes the number 18 of Brad Notted on the outside of that big quad double-double. Boy, this is a fantastic part of the track. Knotted on the outside carrying speed, a very smart rider. Brian, he doesn't get into those fisticuffs, but he is intelligent on the track.
Yeah, real clean, and we can see Keith look over, and Keith could have really slammed the door, but Keith does it the old school way. I thought Keith was going to get it back. Knotted on the inside, Keith's taking the long way around, hacks off the front of the Kawasaki, and that's Worth, Traps.
Yeah, getting back into it, Brian. It's interesting how he was trying to square up that corner, but you can see how that line brushes into the banner to our leader, the number 4, Cole Thompson, on that gorgeous KTM coming through the Cherby's corner, and it looks like the number 15 of Sean Moffenbauer is gaining ground.
Boy, Moff looks good this year. His style for 2016 seems to really be coming into his own on that Redemption Racing Big Steel Box GP Bikes KTM. They've got fly gear involved this year, and Worth just makes a sweet pass on the 217 of Keys for 7th, but up ahead is the battle for 5th.
The battle for 5th has been the hot one to watch today because there's been a cluster of 4 or 5 guys, and there's some great racing on this track to the number 4 of Cole Thompson. Absolutely gorgeous. Managing this track well in the lead. Leg out a la JSR looks fantastic. Here comes Knotted and Worth. Looks like both of these boys have gotten by Kalen and the number 217 of Keith. I love this part of the track, Brian. The combinations coming in to the Zox corner, gorgeous.
And it's really hard to see the speed in camera. We see Knotted really shove the 101 of Worth way to the edge of the track, but now the Worth crisscrossing. He's got the advantage coming into the left-hander. They've caught up to some lap traffic. A clean pass. Wow. Worth is on fire right now.
He is, and I think it's one of those things, the more experience Worth gets out here, the better he's going to be. And it's this type of racing experience on a track for longer motos. That's what he needs.
The 47 of Dylan Delaplace getting well out of the way to our faster riders. Delaplace rarely getting lapped, really coming to his own this year. This rider, the 17, we saw him get his first national win just last weekend in the heat of Kamloops. Takes the white flag, and I'm telling you right, this kid is someone to watch.
No doubt about that, Brian. That's why he has the package underneath him, some good support, and a dynamite team with great thinkers over there at the MX 101 crew. They know what's going on in the sport of Canadian motocross. To the number 4 of Cole Thompson, riding the high line, the safe line in the Royal Distributing corner, going about his business in a very professional manner.
He is just on cruise right now. He's got one more turn. He's got the W in the bag. A clean sweeperoo. Oh, and a semi-knack-knack Ella MC McGrath to the Yamaha leaderboard. What a great second moto. We know our top 2. How about Wright and Pettis, teammates right there, 3rd, 4th. Got to go back to Knotted. How about Kalen, Brandon Leaf, and got to like Taylor Arsenal, Perth, Ontario, and young Davey Frazier on the 2-stroke Husky.
With a clean sweep in the MX2 class, round 2 at the Wastelands in Nanaimo is the number 4 of Cole Thompson. Cole, I don't know what it is about this place. Last year you got the overall in MX1, today in MX2. You look flawless out there, wire-to-wire win.
Yeah, you know, I came off and I said that's the best I've felt this year. You know, we've been working hard. The first round didn't go as planned, and then this weekend, the first one I didn't feel great. Regrouped and changed a few things. And honest to God, I just never felt so good on the bike. Felt like it was just like me riding at my practice track, and something with me and the island have been meshing. You know, I've been able to go 3 out of 4 moto wins, 2 overalls, and definitely looking forward to Calgary.
The number 17 Rockstar Yamaha of Dylan Wright. Third place, second MX2 Moto. Dylan hobbling around, a very injured ankle, and you toughed it out and got yourself back up on the podium. A lot of jam to you, my friend.
Yeah, in the first moto, I got caught up in the first turn pileup with my teammate Jesse and Jeremy Medallia, and I kind of crushed my foot a little bit, and pretty good actually. It's nice and swollen, so wrapped it up for the second moto and tried to tough it out. I didn't know if I was going to ride or not, but now I'm happy I went out, and my the adrenaline kicked in, and that definitely helped during the moto. And I was obviously on the outside of the gate, and I just got a good jump and swept the outside, and then got by a few guys on the laps, put myself into third, and then kind of just rode my own race right there. So I'm pretty happy with the day.
To our overall points after 2 of 10, Thompson's got a nice lead, but Little Muff is keeping him honest. They're gapping Lath, Kalen, and Nonnett right now, but Keith, Bro, and Wright, Gallup, and Davey Fraser all in the hunt.
A very entertaining day of MX2 racing. There's your top 3, Nonnett, Little Muff, and Thompson. Welcome back to the Wastelands. MX1 pilots on the line for their second moto. Brian, let's go back. There was a docking in the first moto. Both Millsaps and Gorky got docked 10 positions. That is a huge penalty, but for an important reason.
Yeah, Red Cross flag. You're not allowed to jump if there's a rider on the track. If it's blind, the other guys can't see, they're jumping. The official was right there, man. Gorky and Millsaps guilty as charged.
Rockstar Haley throws that 30 board up. We focus back on the line. This second MX1 moto will be brought to you by Motul Oil and Lubricants. You hear the big bikes warming up the tires, Brian, on this concrete because it's very slippery. They got to get the tire nice and tacky. Matichuk, that is Meston's teammate on the inside this time.
Yeah, Foothills Yamaha helping those guys out, and Colton Fossetti picking the exact gate pick, and Swanson 1 over on the 21. Then it's Clayson right there in the mix.
Gate is down, Brian, as we go to the Hills video drone. Up top, let's have a look. Who's going to get that Royal Distributing hole shot? It looks like it's the number 3, Brett Metcalf, and that's the Triple Crown, Brian.
Wow, that is $1,200 on the day for a pair of hole shots. Royal Distributing takes that 300 and doubles it, but a play early by Fat Yotes. Great legwork on the outside. Crowd's gonna love this to see their boy up front. Boy, it's been a long time coming.
Metcalf with an issue on corner 3, but here comes the kingpin. The number 118 of Davey Millsaps inside on Metcalf, moves into second place. Oh my goodness, he is very direct out there on the track.
He's so big on the bike, he almost, from certain angles, looks like he's on a mini cycle. He's got such a command over it. He rides the front and the back, and a gorgeous rider to watch. And now Colton Fossetti, who knows his track well, we're gonna see, oh, he just stummies the front end. Gives Millsaps a chance up the inside of the scrubber, that 450 KTM. Got a lot of speed here through the right dog leg at Sherby's. It is Millsaps with the lead. The crowd still cheering on Fat Yotes.
Wow, it's tough to be on the outside through that little sweeper at Sherby's corner because you got nowhere to go. Inside is the line of choice, and Millsaps was having none of it. It's mine, he says to Fat Yotes.
And the track is really dried out, Trav, so even more slippery than what we've seen earlier in the day. You see a few little plumes of dust on these landings. Very difficult place to water because you get the hose on this hard pack and it just becomes a skating rink. So crews deciding to leave it as is, and pretty good for everyone.
Big grease sheet of linoleum out there to the number 11 of Kevin Benoit. Not the start that he wanted. He's mired back and taking a lot of this Wastelands roost. You know what that stuff's like, Brian? It's like getting hit with a bunch of razor blades.
Talking about the 11 and that chain failure, or maybe a rock got in there and broke that chain. The 11 has not had a bad DNF in a long, long time, so this is very humbling for Benoit. I know he is such a true competitor. So much speed, so much heart. Not a lot of pressure on him coming in as he gets by Austin Kuba early here. He's got to work his way to the front.
Benoit using smart lines early in the motor. That high line through that CF Moto corner is the one. Back on board, the 27 of Sean Robinson. Doesn't get a great start. I like the start for Scott, though. And here comes the cluster around the corner with Metcalf getting the Royal Distributing hole shot of the Triple Crown. How about Alessi way back? Interesting.
Wow, but making moves up the inside. There's another replay, the number 1 right there. Millsaps way on the outside, has a bit of a scary moment, hits a mound there, but recovers so quickly with great composure. Fossetti just poised to take the lead from those 2 Yamaha hoppers.
The top end of this gorgeous Wasteland track. Look at the imagery up here, Brian. The speed that they're carrying, the skill, the technicality of this sport is unbelievable.
This is one pretty section of the racetrack. Great imagery here of our top grouping, the number 5 of Medallia, just soldiering through a kind of all alone. He's had a lot of quiet races here on that 350. There's Meston, the upstart, and then Clayson followed by Benoit. This is 8th place, and Benoit's going to be making moves early. That's the factory KTM he's on versus the Redemption Racing KTM of Clayson.
Interesting, the number 28 of Keelan Meston has been in the mix so far, Brian. Sometimes it takes a little while for our young riders to get acclimatized to the big boys, the big bikes.
Meston is a big kid, so he fits in well. He's training really hard. His speed, I saw him in the Arena Cross series. I think he's gained a lot of confidence through the off-season. He feels like he belongs. Remember, he got that first hole shot last year. Now, he's kind of in a headspace where he knows what to do with it.
Talk to me about the two KTMs we're seeing out there with Benoit and Clayson. Similar bikes, similar prepared bikes, different teams.
Yeah, absolutely. They are very similar bikes. They have different engine builders, different engine packages. There goes the 11 quickly. Meston looks over to see who the heck else is coming, and it's Clayson. So I think he feels a little more comfortable banging bars with Clayson than the more established rider, Benoit.
The big sweeper after the finish line, a very technical part of the track, Brian, because you got to get the power down without sliding out. All of our top dogs going under the Honda bridge. Back to this battle with the number 28 of Meston and the number 6 of Cade Clayson. These guys have been getting into it almost every single moto.
Oh, nice move by Clayson there, makes it stick. Can't stress enough how much skill's involved these top riders, the way they can back it in these corners. There's a lot more going on than the shifting gears, hitting the gas and hitting the brakes. These guys are working every muscle, squeezing the bike with their legs, steering with their feet and ankles, manipulating the motorcycle. Millsap's always got his head and shoulders up over the triple clamps. That's the way you want to handle these bikes.
Especially on this Wasteland shale surface, Brian. If you lose focus for a second, even when you're in the lead and you feel comfortable, the bike's going to be underneath you.
Oh, it is so slippery, Travis. That's a great point. The rider's got to really roll on the throttle to avoid spinning out. And we saw some serious 180 spinouts. This is the battle for 13th. So Swanson pulled on the start. He's having a great race here, though, with the 32. The likable rider, Michael De Silva, switching from KTM to Kawasaki this year. And that is the all-new 2016 KX450. A lot of technology sunk into that Cowie.
Look at the size of De Silva. He is built like a Mack truck. He's ginormous in the middle section, going with that inside line or the middle line on Berger. He doesn't have no Berger riding really well today. Berger's acclimatized to the big bikes really nicely. Brian spent 2 years in the little bikes. I like him in the big class.
Yeah, strict clothing helping him out. He looks good on the bike. He's always pretty friendly off track. Teamed up with Riley Bruff. These guys have been soldiering around Canada for a number of years, and Berger, he likes it pink and juicy in the middle, but not many restaurants serve it that way.
Maybe Swanson's going to want the Hungry Man burger tonight, Fabs. If he can get up to that counter and make an order. We see our 3rd and 4th place pilots. That's Metcalf in 3rd and Gorky in 4th. Back to our leader, the number 118 of Davey Millsaps. Watch the approach into the corner. Technically spectacular, but aggressive on the way out, Brian. Really working the KTM. Isn't that nice? A la RC.
The thing about Millsaps is when he gets it a little wrong, he certainly knows how to get his body in the right spot to correct it.
100%.
So he can turn a mistake into an advantage at the blink of an eye. And it is just so second nature for Millsaps, a pro for a long time. Riding these motocross bikes for him is like breathing for you and me.
Well, let's face it, with Millsaps getting his last lap flag and leading and almost winning this moto, in his mind, he's won both motos today, Brian. After that docking in the first moto, he came out with fire between his eyes. And you saw how quickly he got in the lead with the number 3 of Brett Metcalf, Rockstar Yamaha, coming in to get his white flag.
Well, in that first moto, Metcalf scrubbed that red cross flag, but Gerke jumped as well, so both Millsaps and Gerke docked 10 positions.
It stings for sure, Brian, but the red cross flag is probably the most important flag on the track, and riders are going to have to keep their eyes open for them. To the number 11, KTM Thor Racing, Kevin Benoit, who's had a much better moto now in the second moto, made a lot of passes, getting his last lap flag with that DNF in the first moto.
Yeah, he was very heartbroken. Millsaps came out and used that penalty as fuel to take the win. He is not happy, but what can you do? It's the same for everyone. The official was standing right there.
Leading from almost wire to wire, Brian, the number 118 of Davey Millsaps on that KTM Canada Thor-backed bike. Absolutely gorgeous, riding some great lines and really just dominating this Wasteland surface today. He is the kingpin, number 118, Millsaps.
Welcome back to Nanaimo and the Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mike Alessi gets 2nd overall on the day, Travs. Not too shabby, Rat Scabby.
Let's get to our Yamaha leaderboard. There's the top 10 in the second moto. Let's go down to Benoit, Clayson, Meston, and Graham Scott rounding out the top 10.
Davey Millsaps came out again and showed his dominance here in Canada. Davey, a bit unfortunate in that first moto, but you did all you could do, taking that moto win in style, proving more or less that you are the rider to beat up here.
Hey, they want to dog me, whatever. You know, it's kind of bullcrap, but you know, at the end of the day, I did jump on it. It's just that they next time they didn't move the flaggers. You know, they need to make it to where we can see them and you know, not have it on the left side of the track when we're turning right. You know, it doesn't make any sense. But you know, all in all, it was a BS move, and you know, I went 1-1 regardless of what the results say. So you just got to come back next weekend and do it again.
Second in that moto, Colton, you rode great. Boy, you kept Millsaps honest that whole race. You kept the gap around 2-3 seconds. Looked like you maybe were going to make a late moto charge.
Yeah, I got off to a great start. I can't thank the whole Honda Canada GDR Fox team enough. The bike's been working great, and did what I wanted to. Got off to a great start. Got into the lead right away, and just made a little bobble. Gave up that first place, and that was pretty much the end of it. This track's hard to pass on, and you know, Davey was riding well. He didn't make any mistakes out there, and just riding and trying to push as hard as I could, and just didn't quite have it.
All right, the number 3 of Brett Metcalf, a solid day, man. You were ripping out on that track. Your teammate Matt Gerke was making a play, but you just responded every time he got close.
Oh, it's a tough track, you know. I mean, you got to have good starts, and man, I had 2 whole shots today, so I'm super stoked on that. You know, the Yamaha Rockstar OGSFF machines out ripping up there, so you know, much better round than the first weekend. So looking forward to each round, just chipping away, get better, but I'm happy with the third there. You know, Matt was pushing hard, and both the 2 riders on the same team pushing each other, but you know, we got a little bit of gap to close to the lead, so just keep working away, and feeling good where we're at now.
Tour MX 1 points after 2 of 10 rounds. A big shakeup now with that Millsaps and Gerke docking. Faciardi's going to run the red plate into Calgary. Keep your eyes peeled for Medallia, Meston, Benoit, and Kuba.
Nice job, T-Biscuit. Fat Yotes inherits the overall on the day and all that bonus cash. Don't forget to like the CMRC MX Facebook page and go to mxnationals.ca for all the straight goods.
You have been watching the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals, presented by Motovan.com, the source for your power sports parts and accessories. For Brian Coster, Mark Stalybreast, and the entire CMRC crew, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week in Cowtown, Calgary bound.